with an enemy who thinks he owns the world. Stop your crying now, let Daddy dry your tears. There's no bogeyman to get you, never fear. There's no ogres, wicked witches, only greedy sons of bitches who are waiting to exploit your life away. Don't you let them buy you out or break your pride. Don't you let yourself be used.
We're here with Jesse Hughes, shop steward with the Lockout Greyhound workers. Jesse, the strike is now in its 10th week. How are you holding up, first of all?
Well, it's been hard for the people because, you know, the raw wages come in and they can't pay the mortgages. People with young children are kind of really struggling at the moment. From the funds where they're getting and the donations from other unions, it's that really helping us greatly. We're giving an extra money every week for the field and money for kids going back to school. But it's been really tough for people with young families and paying the mortgages.
And you mentioned people are supporting you, other unions have supported you?
We have, yes. We're after getting up to nearly over £50,000 for donations altogether. At this stage they're just driving by us on the picket and the waving at us and trying to intimidate us, like, and you know, it's the lads is just kind of really feeling down about it because, you know, at the end of the day, the air scabs, they shouldn't be driving by a picket. Worried by a guy called Gary Bogdan.
Were you?
Gary Bogdan.
Right. Has he got a company or?
Well, he opened an agency up there in Craig Avenue. See, this was well planned, and every time we made a deal in the past with Michael Buckley, it was through expediency. He never fulfilled his end of the bargain. He made a bargain, but he was always making the bargain knowing that he wasn't the concession. He pocketed the concessions and then never fulfilled his end of the bargain. He's always broken his end of the bargain with the lads. And the lads never trusted him. But this was months in planning. Right. You just couldn't get 78 staff out the door and replace them overnight. This was months in planning. So when we went into the LRC, when we actually spoke about this since the start of the year, he knew that we couldn't take 45% cuts. I'm not sure what sort of money on they're on. I think it's they're on the minimum wage because he's got them in on the minimum wage, and they're willing to work for the minimum wage. If Michael Buckley can get away with it, it's their problem today, but it's someone else's problem tomorrow if this goes on. Because it might be having to be bringing a regulator in, and if we regulate it, we'd all have to have decent sort of wages. But it's up to the Labour and Fine Gael government to regulate the whole industry. Nash, we spoke to Jed Nash, who was in Leinster House there a couple of weeks ago, and he says he was going to look into it and get the ball rolling. But there's no social welfare payments or anything for the lads, so you know, that's why I'm saying it's been really hard for the lads. Well, that's exactly what it was. It was a lockout. We were told that morning you don't sign up to the 45% cuts in your wages to get off his premises, and that's what happened that morning. There's no doubt about it. It was a lockout. Well, we done canvassing around the doors and we're getting great feedback off the people. They're saying they're going to ring up and they're going to see. The situation is they're talking about withdrawing the services, but we don't want the people to withdraw the service because we won't have a job to go back to. So we have to look at the broader picture here. So if they withdraw the service, we won't have a job to go back to. The only way of hurting this man is when the public steps in and says you either take these men back or we will withdraw our services. And that's the only way we can. It's the people power will break this.
Here with Michelle Corbin, who is a wife of one of the Greyhound workers who's locked in at the moment by the Greyhound company. It's 10 weeks now, Michelle.
Yeah.
It must be tough.
It is. It's very tough. It's getting harder by the week. By the day, it's getting harder. We're all running short of money. We're depending on handouts at the moment, be it from SIPTU or family members. So it's getting very, very tough. Well, that's what we're doing. We're asking people to come and support us. You know, this isn't just us. This is down the line, you know. It's a race to the bottom at the moment, so that's what we're asking for, people's support. We need everybody's support, be it, you know, for 5 minutes or an hour. Greedy and all as the employer is at the moment, we're asking, we would hope that people don't resort to services as of yet. But the further down the line it goes, that's going to be the people's choice. If this happens, we can all expect the same. I work, I have a job. You know, we all have to expect this is going to come down the line for us all unless we support each other and make a change now.
How do you like being on strike?
It's very degrading, I have to say.
Is it?
Great solidarity from people, but very, very degrading. Where, you know, in this day and age, you'd never expect to be waiting hand and foot for someone else to pay for your bills or do your shopping.
We're here with Peter Purdy, who is an ex-employee of Greyhound and also an ex-shop steward in Greyhound. Peter, we know where they're at now. The workers in Greyhound are locked out. It's as simple as that. What was the relationship like with the employer before this?
Well, since he took us over in 2009 on that transfer of undertakings from Oxygen, from the very first day he's always been badgering on that I'm not making enough money in this and you're going to have to take wage cuts and change your terms and conditions. That was from the very first day. But we changed our work practices. We gave him 3 rounds of redundancies. We changed the way we do the maps. We worked longer hours. Every man in the place gave him an extra 9 hours a week, and that was he still wasn't satisfied with that, you know. So to be honest with you, he just wants agency workers working on minimum wage, 15, 20 hours a day, because the bin industry isn't regulated. You don't have to be on a tachograph as a driver.
There's no tachograph.
There's no tachograph. So he does have people working 15 hours a day behind the wheel of that truck with maybe a half an hour break if he's lucky. One of the last things that I done was we spent a good weekend over the LRC trying to hash out a deal, and at the end of it we agreed to move her on to the Labour Court, but in the meantime we come up with the redundancy package, and the redundancy package was open to everyone, regardless how long they were there. It wouldn't be capped, and he promised us that anyone that would step up for it, that he'd honour them and then let them go on their way. And as far as I can remember, there was a good 45 people that stepped forward because they knew what kind of a man he was and they didn't want to work for him anymore. And he even turned around on that deal and didn't let the 40 go. He only let 13. Would add up to about 31 to 32 tonnes on the road, driven by drivers who aren't experienced. With that kind of payload, it's very dangerous. And I do fear for the public safety, because you probably wouldn't if they were very well-maintained trucks. But don't know. As I said, you can ask the RSA. 5 of them took off the side of the road by low loaders. The cop says no, they're not driving anymore on the back of low loaders. You know.
Well, that's what we're doing. We're asking people to come and support us. You know, this isn't just us. This is down the line, you know. It's a race to the bottom at the moment, so that's what we're asking for, people's support. We need everybody's support, be it, you know, for 5 minutes or an hour.
Right.
With an enemy who thinks he owns the world, stop your crying now, let daddy dry your tears. There's no bogeyman to get you, never fear. There's no ogres, wicked witches, only greedy sons of bitches who are waiting to exploit your life away.